Live now.
Okay, cool. Uh, okay, I know it's going to be recorded, but I wanted to have more of like a live, an interactive session because last time I was asking questions and I really got some insight, Kutimina, where we are as a collective, Kuti, how we are following. So I really wanted, Kuti, there should be people here and for the most part have their mics muted because we're supposed to uh, be talking because I might be talking about stuff here. When I is either doing whatever because it's recorded and they're going to watch it on their own. So they might miss some things. So yeah. And I also like questions, guys. So please for those that are watching the recording, next time please be around. I like Odi, we should be having like an interactive class. Ask. These people don't like questions, but yeah, I'm only seeing. Oh, no, something. I thought you were running. All right. Welcome to today's class. Today's class is going to be. Uh, Today's class is going to be awesome. It's going to be fun and it's going to be very informative. So, without wasting much of the time,
Hello?
hello.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah, without wasting much time, what we're going to do is wait, let me pull up my whiteboard. All right. Yeah, I've already lost one. Okay. So um yeah, today what we're going to be going through or what we're learning in this project, in this class, I mean, is something called JWT authentication, or let's just call it authentication, right? Um, Authentication, like that. So basically, authentication. I know that you know what. Okay, I should bring two terms here: authentication and authorization. I think most of the things, most of the time, these things are interchangeable, and you can use the other one. And if you think I should use S here, fight me. Um, so basically, according to my understanding, right? According to my understanding, these things are different in a way that authentication. I'm going to give a definition the way I think what authentication is. Authentication is uh, how can I define authentication? Okay, let's see. Authentication is like you're authorizing something. Okay, you're allowing or you're checking if the request in this case, yeah, you're checking if the request uh, should be valid. So basically, is um, allowing only valid requests. Okay, so these are like let's say requests that you can verify, requests that you can verify for the action. Let's just put it like this for the action, right? So authentication is the the top level one. If you put this on two levels, yeah, I think authentication should be on top. Then there's authorization. So what authorization is, you can be authenticated, right? You can be authenticated but not authorized. But I don't think you can be authorized but not authenticated. Right? I think yeah, I think that is so. So authorization basically most times is that um, you are allowing a user to um, take an action based on let's say in this case in my example on the credentials that they have, the credentials they have, right? So for example, you can be authenticated. You can provide um, um, your email and password, and you're authenticated. Sure, but then you're not. Just a bit. Okay, if you cannot hear me, please write in the chat or something disconnected here. So okay, I was where was I? You can be authenticated, right? Provide your email, your password, and we give you whatever you need to have to to use our system. But then at the end of the day, let's say your user, what's your username? Uh, let's put it like this. Okay, okay. Let's say your user 123, something like that, right? You have logged in into our system and your user 123. You are authenticated as user 123, and you're authorized to change to change user 123, right? But then you're not authorized to change 124. Okay, you're authenticated as user 123, but you're not authorized to change 124 because you are user 123. So authorization is more for resources that are you able to access resources. So in a way, the way we are going to implement this, we're going to use the JWT for for authentication, right? But we're also going to go through a little bit of authorization, right? And and you that are in this chat, do prepare because I'll be asking questions in this class, right? So you're carrying the weight of the class right now. If you're only two in here, okay. So comes the what the topic of today, which is JSON Web Tokens, right? JSON Web Tokens, or JWT in short and fancy JWT, right? So what JWT is, um, let me not lie the definition, but I'll just try to explain what it is, and then you're going to understand what it is from there, right? So JWT is a way that we is a token system basically that we use to encrypt or to yeah, I can say to encrypt data uh, in a string, like in a string token. So we can have uh, a JWT token, right? That can be uh, yeah, something like that. Okay, you can have something like this. So this can be a JWT, and the data that this JWT is carrying, right? It can carry, let's say, it can carry data like this: ID user 123. Okay, so our JWT, our JSON Web Token, is going to carry it. This is the token, right? But then when we decrypt this token, we're going to have this data. Okay, so um, what for in our example that we're using for authentication and authorization, um, this uh, this can be used for authentication, right? So every time a user makes a request, right? Not the login, because you don't need a login for the JWT. I'm going to explain that. So let me use a proper example. For example, we're using our API here to get the users or to get the places. But this user or this resource, that is the users or the places, they are only um, they're secure resources. So we don't want everyone to have access to this. So we're going to say that, hey, provide us a JWT, right? So provide us a JWT, and in that JWT, we're going to see that, okay, fine, sure, this user is user 123 from the JWT that they're going to provide. Now, in the case of authorization, because we are only allowing a certain user to change something that belongs to them, we are authorizing them to change something that only that belongs to them, right? So, for example, like Maria cannot change Sylvia's account, cannot change Sylvia's profile, and vice versa. You know. So, because this has the user ID, we also use this user ID that okay only change um, that the user that is that the user that is providing the authentication, something like that. So in your endpoint, I think this changes something like this. Um, in your endpoint, let's say you want to let's say we have the the endpoint to update the user profile. Yeah, so we can say user and update profile, something like that. We want to update profile. So this okay question. What method do we use to update a resource? Anyone here? So going, Maria, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, but I don't remember.
You don't know? Or if I was asking if I heard you correctly, okay. Sleeve, I think we also have sleeve in here. What HTTP method should we use to update a resource?
Yes, I'm here. Okay. Mm, we should use get.
No. Sorry. No. We did not use that. From our HTTP methods, I said yes, because we want to update. Okay.
Yeah.
Now we can move on. So okay, we want to reach you. Please mute your, but I'm hearing myself. Okay, let's continue. In this, hello, Sleepy, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Uh, try, try muting your mic. Hear myself.
Hello.
You can hear me, yeah?
Are you able to hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm saying that you can hear you. So I'm hearing
Sorry, mukumveka moduka duka. I don't know, is it because of network?
Check the chat.
Okay.
Okay. All right, good. Now we can continue. So, okay. So, in normal cases of us trying to update a user here, right? We're supposed to pass the user ID because then in our API, how are we going to know that this user, this endpoint, the one that is updating the user, what that user is or what the ID of the user is? So we pass the ID here, right? But then in our case that we want to enforce that uh, only the authenticated user can only update his profile because here anyone having the API will be able to update this. So basically, if we're using tokens, then we can kick out this part of the ID because now we're going to get that ID from the token, right? So like this. So now we know that only the user that is sending this is updating their profile. So it's more of a security thing using this design pattern, if you can call it that. Okay. So I've talked about this JWT token. It doesn't. It looks like this, but not exactly like this, right? Yeah. So I now we can go to the next part, which is there are two types of tokens. You can have many as you want for whatever you want to use to use them for. But um, now let's talk about the authentication token. We do have two main authentication type tokens here. We do have, if you've heard of them, then that's good. You're going to feel right at home. We do have access tokens, right? And refresh tokens, right? So access tokens, the lifespan of an access token, you can give it like the standard of an access token is supposed to give it like 15 minutes, right? No, I should say minutes. You can think it's milliseconds. And the refresh token, it can be 30 days, 30, 60. You see on some websites, they say, remember me for 60 for 90 days. So basically, in most cases, what you're saying there, let's say you click, I remember me for 60 days. So then this refresh token is going to expire in 60 days, right? So this is going to expire in 60 days, this refresh token. So now what are these tokens exactly and why do they have different times of expiration? All right. So an access token, yeah, you use uh, you use this you use this token to access stuff. Yeah. As they say, do not use the word in the definition, but yeah, you understand. And the refresh token, you use this to refresh the access token, right? So the access token is used to access stuff, and the refresh token is used to refresh the access token. Okay, so let's say an example. Yeah, let's have a user journey like this. This is our user. Let's that's the head, and let's say this is the body. Right? This is the user. This user logs in. Right? This user um, logs in. Right? So when this user logs in, when we're sending back our response, we're going to give this user both the access token, right? Access token and the refresh token. Okay, so again, we're going to give this user the access token and the refresh token. Okay, let's say the user tries to do something, right? Let's say the user is trying to, let's say the user is trying to update um, his or her profile. Uh, let's say the user is trying to update the profile, right? The user is trying to update the profile. When this user is trying to update his or her profile, we're going to send the access token, right? We'll go on this request that this user wants to update the profile, right? We're going to send over the we're going to send over the access token because the user is trying to do some certain action, so they need the access token for that. We're only going to verify, or we're only going to allow them to do something that is secured if they have an access token. If they don't have, then they will be denied, right? So the user wants to update. The user wants to update the profile, they use this access token. The user wants to get some places, they use the access. They're going to send over the access token. But remember, now the access token is only alive or is only valid for 15 minutes, right? So let's say that 15 minutes runs out. Yeah, let's say that 15 minutes runs out. What do they do now? Okay, now they use the refresh token, right? When the access token expires in that 15 minutes that we define, this can be 5 minutes, right? It's really up to you. This can be 5 minutes. So when that access token expires, now they're going to send, right? Now they're going to send a request to, let's say, uh, auth and refresh. Okay, they're going to send a request to this let's say endpoint. Right? Remember, when they wanted to do something, they were sending over the access token. Right? Now the access token has expired. Our server is going to deny it. It cannot be used anymore. Okay, so after the access token is expired, now they are going to send the refresh token, right? They're going to send over the refresh token, and the refresh token is also going to have this data that our token is having. Yeah. So then they're going to send the refresh token, and when they send over that refresh token, the refresh token is going to verify in the, let's say, in the database, it's going to verify that, okay, what is the user? Okay, the user is this one. Okay, fine, sure. The user is this one, user 123. Okay, sure, no problem. But this request token that I'm trying to refresh with, is it valid? Is it in the database? Yeah, sure, it's in the database. Okay, sure. Then refresh the token. So from this refresh token, we then get a new what? Access token, right? We get a new access token. In most cases, depending on who you are, I would say, but in most cases, you just make the access token. But the industry standard, or at least what I use, whenever I'm refreshing a token, I also get a new pair of, I also get another refresh token, right? So I also, when I'm trying to refresh an access token, I also refresh the refresh token itself. So I want a new refresh token, right? So meaning to say that now this one is going to be valid for 15 minutes, and this one is going to be valid for 30 days. But this one, we're going to delete it from the user that it can no longer be used because, yeah, it's for security reasons. They're not really supposed to be kept because if anyone has access to this access tokens, they can access your server, they can access the entire whatever you have, as long as there's okay, it will also be in case of authorization that which access token do they have, and yeah, what that user uh, uh, has authority over. If it's an admin access token, then yeah, you're okay. Now, then that takes us to the next topic in this explanation. Now that is um, key signing. This thing signing, sure. Key signing, right? So in most cases, not in most cases, in all cases, right? You do have a key. You have two keys because we have two tokens. You have two keys. Do not have one. You're going to regret it later. So you have key one and key two. So what do these do? So key one, right? We're going. This is going to be the access secret key. uh, access secret key, and this one is going to be the access sorry, the refresh secret key, right? Secret key. What are these keys? We have our tokens here, right? Where do you think this token is coming from? Well, it's coming from it's a JWT, so it's coming from that library, yes. But then, what makes this token uniquely ours, right? We sign it with an access key, or like in this case, if we want to create an access token, we're going to sign it with an access key, right? So, meaning to say that we are supposed to make a key that is uniquely ours. You can have it as password 123, but then if someone else, okay, let me not explain that first. We have access secret key that is going to sign it. That is going we're going to use to sign a token, and then this right will give us this token, right? But also, when we're trying to let's say we're hitting this endpoint that okay, we want to update the user. Now and we give it our access token, right? We're going to use this same access key to verify that the token that we're receiving are we the one that created that key. So the same key creates the token, the same key verifies the token, right? So meaning to say that if the request is coming in, but then you're not able to identify the token that is trying to request that resource or something, then you're going to deny it because no, it's not our key. We cannot know it, whether we cannot use it, right? Same goes to the refresh secret key. It's it's going to create uh, it's going to create a what? A what? Sure. It's going to create a refresh token. Uh, and at the time where we're trying to sign this, right? At the time that we're trying to sign what? To sign the refresh token, we're going to sign it, and the time we're trying to refresh the token, we're also going to check that we're also going to check that what if we signed the refresh token, if this refresh belongs to us. Okay, so meaning to say that these keys are important. If you're going to lose them, sure. I don't think it's going. If if you're going to act smart about it in a production app, then yeah, you're going to, if you lose it, you're going to make another one and you're going to be signing with those keys. And also, um, another important part here, you notice that this one is 60 days, right? And on those websites, you say that uh, okay, sorry. One important thing is that this is 15 minutes, yeah. So if this token expires in 15 minutes, this secret key cannot verify this anymore because it is expired. That's why you have to make it 15 minutes because you have to be changing that every 15 minutes or every 5 minutes. It should be changing. It should be changing. In the case that let's say a hacker has access to this um, has access to this secret key here, our access token. That means he or she only has access to our service or server in 15 for 15 minutes, right? If the key was going to expire in 5 minutes, if they have access to the key, they're only going to have access to our server in like 5 minutes. The remainder uh, to the expiring time. Okay. Well, this one you can keep it because basically you cannot use the refresh token to access something. The refresh token is only used to refresh the access key, right? So meaning to say that let's say you go offline for 10 days and then you go to the app, you are still logged in, right? Your access key expired days ago, but then you still have access, you're still logged in because you still have the refresh key. That means when you log in, even though your um, your access token expired, it's going to use this to get you a new access token that you can continue. But then it happens that when you're offline for a long time, you notice that then you'll be logged out because then your secret key. Let's say that here in our case that we're signing as a refresh key for 60 days, meaning to say that let's say if that 60 days has passed, you can no longer refresh because this token is has expired. So yeah, they log you out. That okay, sure, log in again so that we can create a new pair of the tokens. So in a nutshell, right? In a nutshell, that is what JWT is, and we're going to be implementing that. And be ready for questions. I should get a talk because it's getting cold here. So yeah, uh, there will be questions here. So be ready, and no one should exit the call. Uh-huh. Wait, I'm doing a question. Uh-huh. Okay, okay, back. Okay, sure. Um, anyone, having questions? I'm pretty sure there should be questions. Anyone having questions, on the implementation, on the security? If you have some curiosities, please do ask them right now. Over to the floor. Ask a question or be asked. Your choice.
I have a question.
All right, go ahead.
Can you come again on the difference between the access key? and the refresh secret key.
The key is not the tokens. Key is not the tokens. Okay. Uh, sure. The access token, right? We have, let's say, a resource here. Okay. We want to update the user, but this is like, let's say, uh, let's do this. Uh, okay, I, okay, I consider it locked. It's unlocked, of course. So consider it locked. Let's say that this is a locked um, resource, right? You send over the access token to access this. Okay. So before I go to the what to the access secret key, there, I think that's what you're asking. So we send over the access token to request this. Without the access token, this is locked, right? Meaning to say that you only or your app only can access our server or can access that specific thing. So for updating a profile in this case, we want we want that you should provide us with a password, for example, right? We want us that you should provide us with the access token for you to request this. So that's the access token. And the refresh token, it's when this access token expires, we want to get another access token. So we use the refresh token that, hey, uh, my access token has expired. So yeah, give me another one, right? So you use the refresh token for that, right? So on the access secret key, oh, okay. It's a secret key, of course, but then in this case, so that there should be like for the access token is also a secret key. So in this case, for it to make sense, let's say signing key, right? Let's say signing key. I think this will make more sense. Now, the access signing key, we're going to use this access signing key to create, right? To create this token here. This token has can or let's say it has been created by this signing key, meaning to say that when you're trying to update this resource, we are also going to get this signing key to verify that we have received a token. Yeah, this is the token. But can you verify that you are the one who signed this token? Right? Meaning to say that another person cannot create another access, cannot create another token and then use it, right? While you didn't sign it, right? So you use this to verify, to create and verify a token, and the refresh token is the same. You create a refresh token, so the next time you're refreshing, you verify, but okay, we have received a refresh token, but first, can we verify that this token belongs to us? So then, yeah, you read the refresh signing key again. I hope that answers the question.
Yes.
Right. I saw that Pauline, you wanted to say something the time Stephen was the
Yeah,
speaker.
my question was on the same part, but I got it now. But I just wanted to ask
Mm.
on access token and refresh token. You said access token expires quickly compared to the refresh token, right?
Yes.
And you gave an amount of time, but I forgot. I think.
Okay. The access token, we we have specified could be 15 minutes, but you can say 5 minutes. You put this yourself that I want it to be I want it to be 15 minutes. I want it to be 5 minutes. I want it to be 1 second. but you'd be crazy doing that, putting it 1 second, yeah, because then every you notice that you're going to be refreshing every time. So the time is up to you. This can be 30 days. This can be 15 days. It doesn't really matter. But most times, I think most of if you watch most tutorials, they're going to have it at 30 days because I think that's the standard. Why are you keeping that for 60 days? And also an important thing, this does not go to the database, right? Never send your access token to your database. Uh, I shouldn't say never as if it's a big thing. Security is a big thing. So do not send this to your database. But this can go to the database, right? Because you're going to need it. You're going to need to verify it at some point with it. Yeah, if you actually have it. So yeah, this needs to go to the database. And yeah, let me just stop like that. Let me stop there because I want to say another thing. Maybe it might be confusing, so I'll say it at the end. That answers the question.
Yes, it did. Thank you so much.
No problem. Do we have anyone else in the group or at our end? Okay, I don't. I think they're not here because I cannot see. Okay, so um, another tip. Well, you can have this and everything is working fine. Everything is working fine, but at some point, if your security is low, you're going to need to change this. So there is also something called key rotation, but we're not going to do that here. But yeah, key rotation is a thing. You you change. Let's say maybe if your system is like a top security system, you have to rotate the keys, so change them out so that let's say maybe someone was able to get the keys, well they'll not be able to work anymore because you don't use those keys anymore. So yeah, yeah, key rotation is a thing, and take it serious. Okay, so now let's go to the implementation of our. Okay, now but before we go to implementation, there is going to be one thing that we have to remind each other of. So any volunteer in the chat, what is a middleware? Volunteer to explain for us what is a middleware. Or Rishma, Maria, I think you went off. Any questions on this because we're moving fast. Any question on these things?
Uh, I have been here, but I was backstage. I wanted to ask Kuti, what did the refresh key? Imabanga regenerate the same access key like a new token, or it just creates uh it recreate it? Is my question clear enough?
Yeah, you can hear me.
Did you get my question?
Yes, I got your question. Okay, this refresh signing key, does it create the same key? Then no, because this, right? Remember we are encrypting this, right? So this key, along with other things, are used to the signing key, the data, and I think the timestamp as well. The time we're creating this key are used to create this hash. Okay. So the next time, if this expires and you create the same thing, that means you're having the same key, right? So it has already expired. So if it does not change, that means you didn't change anything. So the refresh signing key, creating a new token, a new access. It's actually a new access token, so it's not the same one. So it creates another one, right? So it's not going to be the same. It's not going to be the same. string, it's going to be a different one. That answers the question.
Yes, thank you.
Any other question? We have Maria. So, any questions from your side?
Okay. Uh, there a possibility where access token expire the refresh for the okay when and the refresh token is still valid, hasn't expired, that you can use the refresh token. Does that make sense?
Okay, can you ask it again?
Okay. Does it happen that the access token refresh token is valid so you can still use the refresh token from the previous access token? I don't know if it makes sense.
Okay, I'll try to explain to what I've heard. And then you're going to say if I heard it correctly or not. You're asking that we have an access signing key. Oh, sorry, we have an access token and a refresh token. So this access token has expired, but
Yes.
then we want to refresh this token. Yeah, we want to refresh the access token. We have refreshed it. So but we didn't refresh the refresh token. Does the previous refresh token still work? Is that the question?
Yes.
Yes. These tokens work until they expire. So when you refresh, uh, getting a new refresh token is just a security thing. It's needed, but it is not necessary, right? So this refresh token is going to work as long as this refresh token is going to work as long as the signing key is the same and um the what and and it has not expired. So if you heard that point that you have to keep the refresh token in your database, right? You keep the refresh token in your database. The moment you do a refresh and then you get a new refresh token, remove the old one in the database. Technically, it's still valid, right? That technically that refresh token that was previously in the database, it's still supposed to work. But now in the process of refreshing that token, you check in the database that this refresh token that I'm using is it in the database. If it's not, then do not allow it. But that token is still valid. Right? Someone else can still use it, but then it is not in our database. So it's like a two-step um, verification thing. That answers the question.
Yes, thank you.
All right. So now the million-dollar question that we were uh, asking: what is a middleware? Any volunteer?
From what
Um,
I know, middleware. So okay. Okay,
Pauline,
let
go
me
ahead.
just go real quick. From what I know, a middleware is like a middleman. A middleman. That's between applications and services, I think.
A middleman that's between applications and services. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Well, it has some truth to it, but not entirely. So yeah, keep that thought. Reshma, you also wanted to say something.
I think middleware it's something that sits between the server and the clients, where we put something functionality in the middleware, nga- like the authentication thing and some sorts.
Okay, your your what? Your answer also has some truth to it. So I think because of the middle part, so you're both correct. It's it's here's the let's get our user. Where is our user? Okay, this is our user. Right? This is our user. This is our server. Right? This is let's say this is the request, and this is the response. Okay. So they use they wait. There's two people here. Maria, what's the middleware?
The same way she has explained. Uh,
Yes, but we want to hear different.
okay, something like a help between uh,
Uh-huh.
the request and the response from the website. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Makes sense. I don't know if because I already started drawing it, but makes sense. Okay,
Mm.
so uh, our middleware. Okay, this is the request, right? This is the server. So we're going to also take this part here as the request. Okay, right. So we can say for those that you have access to this document, I don't know if you're using it, but yeah. So this is the request response life cycle, right? So um, a user makes a request. This is our server, and our API handles that request, right? And it also what it also handles the responding to the user, right? So this is our request life cycle. Access, we handle the request, then we respond. So that's the life cycle. So our middleware is something that sits or the middleman to what Pauline said, and something that that has some code in it, as Reshma said, and it is a helper, as Maria said. So um, the middleware comes here. Let me make this. Let me make this one. The middleware is here. Before we get to the point that we are handling our request, we go through the middleware first, right? So this will make sense in our implementation that for our access token or our authentication guard, that right? Before it even gets to the point that we're actually handling the request, we have to check now. Is the access token valid? Is the what valid and all that? So that's the point that we're going to be implementing this. It is going to be we uh, before we handle the request. So all this happens in the middleware, right? It doesn't even get to the response to the request. It happens in the middleware. So now we're also going to go through the middlewares and stuff like that. So uh, I I I hold on to dear life to believe that um, you practice how to do a middleware, right? And please tell me that you did. Because yeah, don't fall behind. This is fun when you're on top of the game when you know what you're doing. This is very fun. So please make sure that you're following and you're practicing and you're implementing something of your own, right? Uh, because you do remember that we're supposed to create a project with this. So this is just the foundation, and then we're going to then create the project that we intended to create in the class. So when you're creating the project, it's only going to be code and vibes, all that. Right. So Yeah. Now I'm going to show you how we make a middleware in the new Express um that we are what that we are using. Okay. So to make a middleware, let me scale this up. I think this will be enough. Okay. So um, we have our routes, we have our loaders, we have our data. But then the way I like to do this, I like to have a separate folder that is going to have our middleware, right? So you can call it middleware or middlewares, but let me just call it middlewares because we're using plural for our folders, right? Middlewares. So let's make a test middleware. Okay. I like to name it like this: test dot middleware dot ts. Okay. So in our middleware, let's start implementing our code to handle this um, middleware of ours. Right. So I'm going to be asking questions. Please, if you have an answer, please do unmute yourself and answer very fast so that we should move fast. I just want to make sure that you're listening to your and you're following as well. So we're going to have an asynchronous function, right? Let's call this test uh, middleware middleware, right? Uh, question coming. We have a request, we have a response. What else should we have here? Please keep ask. What should we have here? Let's see if you're really practicing. Um, request, response, what else? Don't make me mention names, please. Pauline, what should we have? What else should we have there?
I don't have an idea.
All right, no problem. Now what should we have? Reshma, Maria, please help us. What should we have here? I'm sure you. I'm sure you can all hear me. Please. Oh wait, someone has been quiet. Sylvia, what should
We should have a which line?
here? Where there is request, response, what else? Response, what else?
We should have a query.
What does it do? What does it do?
Like it's the one that is the one that takes the request. The okay, Dingodi, if there is a request, it sends a query to the controller, and then the controller responds.
Okay, yeah, you know what you're talking about. When the wedding, it's the next function. So it's going to say that okay, fine, we're done with the middleware, go to the controller. Okay, so sure, yeah, good. Um, and we have the next here, our next function. And if something happens, let's say we have an issue. We have like 30 minutes left, so I think we should be fast. 30 minutes is always just. Oh, I'm using the request word. Another question is why I'm writing this out. This is supposed to fail. And back to you, Sylvia. What should we have for the status? This is when this fails. So what should we have for the status? Alright, Pauline, please help us. We should move fast. I hope you can all hear me. Okay. I don't know if you can hear me or not, but this should be.
Hello?
You're late.
Hello?
Okay.
You know, was it the network or but you're late.
Okay. On the status, we should have 500 error.
Ready. Okay. So, yeah, we have our middleware here. It's a test middleware. We're taking the request, we're taking the response, we're taking the next function, and we're console logging that our middleware ran, and then we're taking to the next function. And here we have a console log of error. Well, nothing is going to fail here, but then you always have to make sure that you do have the case if something fails. Okay, but just because you're never too sure. So yeah, the status is sent, so you're saying that something happened, something went wrong. Okay, so we're going to use the user's controller. Okay, so to use the middleware, I hope you're taking notes, but because you're going to be watching this, so I think okay. To use a middleware, guess what we have to do? We have to say use. Yeah, fancy, I know. Okay, so we decorate this thing with use, right? Have your request app, and then here you have this. I think this should be top level at all times. Okay, but here you say use, and what are we using? We're using that test middleware. Okay, if you have it like this, well, that's how you register middleware, just like that. All right, so let's try running our server. Let's say npm. Let me start post my browser. Let's say uh, npm run dev. Right. What's wrong now? Okay, because for some reason I don't know what's wrong with this project, but it is messing up the imports. So make sure that the imports. I think here you know what goes on here, so we will not dwell on that much. But it keeps messing up the imports. It's not our fault. Okay, npm run dev. Yeah, now it's working. So we're running on port 3,100. So let's do localhost 3,100 and we go to users. Cannot get users. What is it? It's users, then get users. Okay, sure. We have users and we have get users like that. We get our users, our beautiful, beautiful users. But now you see that our middleware ran. So meaning to say that middleware was registered successfully and it ran. So yeah, I think you can clap hands for yourself that the middleware is running. Okay, now let's get to the fun part. We're going to be implementing authentication. So please do ask questions, interact with me. But yeah, I have to do this fast. So what you have to install is JSON Web Tokens. I just have to verify the version, so we should use the version that I know is going to work. So we're going to install JSON Web. How do you like this? Is it one word? Yes, it's one word. JSON Web Token, like that. Okay, install. Okay, we have JSON Web Tokens because we're using TypeScript, so we're also going to install the types for it. So and I do remember that I do believe that we said that when you want to install a dependency that is for development only, you put /d. So I hope you're all following that. Types and JSON Web Tokens. Sorry, JSON Web Token for the types. Okay, we have our auth controller. We also need our auth service, right? .ts. We're going to export that class auth service, right? And we're going to say handle login like that. And what we're going to require here is our email, which is going to be a string, right? Our email is going to be a string, and our password as well is going to be a string. Right. Okay. So, handling our implementation, please, if you have questions, ask them. I cannot stress that enough because I really want questions. That tells me that you are understanding something. So please do ask, or you want to understand something. I can say so. So we are going to import. Uh, we are going to import the JSON Web Tokens, right? So let's import that. Let's import okay, so importing, we're going to import JWT from JSON Web Token. And what we're going to do here, we're going to verify that we do have this user in our users, right? So we're also going to, okay, let's have ID in here as well. ID, let's say 1 for our example. ID, ID 2, right? ID 3. ID 3, ID 4, and ID 5. Okay, we're going to need that in a minute. So let's go to our auth service, right? So we're going to try this out. As always, please do your error handling. Yeah, it's important. We're going to console log the error for us to know, and we're going to throw that error to our controller to be handled. Okay, so let's import our users. Import user, not like that. Why are you importing like this? This is not going to work. Data users like that. Okay. So first things first, we're going to check if the user is valid. So let's check what you have to get from the user. Okay. So var user. Let's say our user. We don't want to. We're going to get user filter. Right. We're going to filter element. We're going to filter where email. Okay, sorry. E.email is equal to email that we're passing, and e.password is equal to the password that we're passing. So we're going to get that user. But if we don't have that user, right? If our user is not valid, we're going to throw that credential mismatch. That means those things do not match. So credential mismatch. At this point, if that user now is valid, right? We're going to then a JWT for that user. Okay. Oh, okay. Also now, I almost forgot. In our data, right? Let's have keys.ts, right? So we're going to export, and we're going to say access. Let's export const access access token key. In the next session, I'm going to show you how we create this actions, but this one let's just use like let's just use it like this. Let's export const, which this is going to be a refresh token key, right? And this one is just going to be something like that. So please do keep this seated as I've already mentioned. So now let's create that access token and our refresh token. So constant access token, and which is going to be equal to JWT dot sign, right? So we'll so okay, now you see, now we are signing, right? So the first thing that it takes is the payload. Okay. So what is our payload? We want to say the payload.
Can I cut you?
Sure, go ahead.
On line 8, I don't know why you put it there or what it is doing.
This one.
The filtering one.
Okay. We are handling a login, so we have an email password. So now we are filtering from our user here to know that we have to get the user that matches both the email and password. That's what we're doing here. Make sense?
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, from our user here, what we're going to have in the payload, we're going to have the ID. Most cases, you're just going to have the ID in there, but then we're going to say that our user dot ID, that is what is going to be in our payload. So our JWT is going to carry this. All right. So next, what it's going to what it's going to what want is the secret or private key. Now we have to pass in a private key. So here we're going to pass in our token access token, but it's coming from the wrong place. So let's fix this. Yeah, access token, and then here we also have the refresh token. All right. So okay, now let's say that what the next thing that it's going to need is the expiry. So if you check in here, options now, and it's going to take expires in, right? So here there is a time format that you're supposed to use. You see here, if I just put string, something is wrong because there's a time format that you're supposed to use. I think you're either supposed to use the millisecond. You have to like do the milliseconds and multiply with seconds and all that. But the simple one that you're going to use is like this. If I say, okay, this is 30 milliseconds, so this is very short, right? But if I do this and say, this is like 15 minutes, so this is how you do it, right? So, let's have it like it should look good. So yeah, this is basically how we created a refresh token, sorry, an access token. You sign, you give the data that you want the thing to carry. You say that this, okay, sure, this is our access token, and this is our token key, and this is the time that it's going to expire. So I'm going to copy this and say, let's give a refresh token. This one, we're not, in this case, we're not going to keep this in the database because as of right now, we do not have a database. But in the sessions that we are going to take from here, we're going to have the database. And this one expires in 30 days. So it's 30 D for days. Okay? Yeah, no problem, Mike. Yeah. So then let's return, right? We want to return our user. So our user is going to be our user. And we want to return tokens here. And tokens, we're going to have access token. I can just use the shorthand, but as I think I've already explained, like for example, if I use access token like that, what it does, it just says access token and then access token. So for a short, we just put access token there and we say refresh token here. Okay. So here we have successfully uh, created that handle what login. So here, let's work the magic in here again. We're going to import, right, and it's going to be auth service, and we're going to say private auth service and auth service like that, and to say auth service like this as a constructor, so that we should initialize this dot auth service is equal to new auth service like this. Okay, and we're going to say post anyone who wants to tell us why we're using post and what we are missing. Let me not bother you much. But if you want to tell us why we want to use post, that would be good. So if you want to show us your knowledge, please do that. Anyone? Thank you. And we're going to say.
Because we are trying to post data, like we are trying to insert data when logging in. That's why we are using post.
Where's Janice? Oops.
I saw you.
You didn't see anything.
What is happening? Where is Jonas?
I don't know. That's what I was asking.
He's
Oh,
not here. I
he's
think
here.
his network, maybe.
Okay.
I didn't know that I was off. I was busy asking questions. I was wondering, why are you not answering me? Okay, sure. Let's continue. Uh, so, I don't know why I cut off when I do. I don't think. Um, I don't think it was far. Okay. Okay. I think we should stick to the topic of JWT for now. You can hear me, right?
But we tried to answer the question.
You texted this at 9:10. How far have I been? How long have I been gone?
A minute, something like that.
Okay. Uh, okay, sure. Here, here we're going to handle the error, and that error is what credential mismatch, right? Credential mismatch. So let's say credential mismatch here, and we're going to then return rest status. We're not going to use 400. We're not going to use 401. Let's use 403. Is it 403 or 402? For unauthorized, I think it's 403. We're going to send, we're going to say code. Okay, the code is going to be credential mismatch. No, the code is the code itself. So that's the error because we're passing in the error as the code. And the message will be what something went wrong. Email and password do not match any user like that. And we're going to have ultimate do, which is the 500. That is going to say that if maybe something happened beyond our control, so we're going to say that perhaps it's not you. What am I saying? Okay, we're going to say in terms of it's not you, it's us. So we are at fault. So here I like to say air like that, and I give it the air. Okay. So here we are going to in the next class. I think we're going to do this. So we're going to say constant email is equal to constant constant email is equal to request dot email and constant password uh, is equal to uh, request dot password. So in the next class, what? We're going to also create a middleware to validate this. But if you want, you can take that as an assignment, and hopefully you're going to do it. Find out or try yourself, or you can do a middleware to verify this. Yeah. So we're going to say bad request in this one because we're going to create a proper one. So here we're going to say if error is equal to the error that we're passing here, which is the bad request, right? The bad request, we're going to say return is the status. Bad request, what's the status for bad request? Anyone in the chat?
Four oh one.
What? I didn't get you. What did you say?
401.
No. Anyone else?
400.
What?
400.
400. Yeah, that's bad request. So 400 here for bad request. 401 Nashma is for unauthorized. No, unauthorized, authenticated. Yeah, but it's for that you're not authenticated, so unauthenticated. That's 40. That's 401 for unauthenticated. Okay.
Okay.
Here we're going to get the result from what this dot auth service and the login, and we're going to pass the email and the password like that, and we're going to then, okay, my fellow people, what status should we have for this response? What status should it be? And please state the reason for your answer. What status should it be? Any volunteer?
Can you come again?
This login thing we're doing, what status should it return with?
200.
State the reason for your answer.
I just remembered what is the positive status when it's successful.
Okay, 201 is also positive, 203 is also positive, 204 is also
Oh
positive.
man,
Why 200 instead of 201?
that's what I recorded in my mind.
Okay, yeah, you're correct. It should be 200, but anyone with an explanation, help your sister out here. Maria, why 200 instead of 201?
Or is it because 200 is special for authentication?
No, Cynthia has been quiet.
Let me
Last
try.
time I
200,
Continue.
200, it means everything went well. Wow, 201, it means something new was created. So
In this case, why 200
yeah.
instead of 201? Maria, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, it was the same.
Okay, so it's 200 because nothing was created. I think in the explanation, yeah, sure. Yeah, you're correct. We were using 200 because it was successful, but nothing was created. Something is wrong again. What's wrong now? I would like, uh, yes, oh, okay, we have an error somewhere in our code. I don't know why it is not showing us. But if you remember very well in here, in our users, we were pushing this, but then now we have changed our user that it has an ID. So we were supposed to uh, have that there. So I think now we're supposed to say uh, user for the ID. So let's just increment this. So we're going to say user dot length plus plus to increment that by one. So let's run our server again. Hopefully now it should work. Okay, 301 is already, something is already listening on that, but we are the one using that, so how come 301 is already in use? Oh, okay, sure. We have two instances. So this one is already using the 301, the 3100. So yeah, I was supposed to stop this one. Now let's run the server. Okay, server is running on port 3100. Now let's do the login. Right, let's go to Postman and try to log in into our beautiful server. Add request. But what's the request method we're using for this request? The login one.
Post.
What?
Post.
Oh, I can't remember that one.
Yeah,
So we're
post.
using, yeah, so we're using post request. And the body, well, JSON. We have email. We have an email, which is email, and let's put a fake email and a password. We should know that our error handling is working before we test out what we're supposed to test out. Okay, let's send this. Yep. We have 403 is forbidden. I forgot that 403 is forbidden, not unauthorized. 401 unauthorized, but 403 forbidden. We're forbidden to do something. So in a way, you would say that's unauthorized as well. You're not authorized to do that. You're forbidden. Sure. So it's working. That's a mismatch. Now let's try to get an actual user. Let's use this one. Password. Want to see the password. Okay. Here. Oh, what's going on? Okay. Like that. And the password is password 123. Like that. And then we send this. Notice all, very beautiful. Notice we have logged in, right? Hope you can all see. We have logged in, we have the user that, okay, fine, I've logged in as well here, and we have the tokens. That this is our access token, and this is our refresh token. So this is how you handle the what? The login to create the tokens. Now we're going to implement the Django because was supposed to be done by now. Um, let's let's try to do something that we're going to use the access token. So this one we're going to use the access token, and we're going to do the refresh token in the next class. Okay. So let's make a request that will use our access token. So let's say let's just go to the what? Okay, for example, okay, we want to add a user. So we're only adding a user if we ourselves we are what? We are authenticated. We have the right token. Okay. So now we're going to create an authguard.middleware.ts. Okay. Now this is where the magic happens. Um, give me a second to just check something. Okay, let's continue. Let's create the auth guard, something like that. So, the same way we did this, let's just copy that we should move fast. The same way we did this, um, and we're going to say, let's say auth guard. Let's call it that. Okay. Now, this is going to use a concept that I don't think we have talked about, but please bear with me. I don't know if I forgot or what, but there's something called headers, right? So there is a body, right, and there's a header, right? So bear with me. I'm going to send you a video on this so that you can check this. But then there's something called headers that we're going to use here, and I'm going to explain in the next class. All right. So in our auth guard, we are going to get the token, right? So the token is going to be passed through a header that is called an authorization head. So we're going to say auth header, right? We're going to get from the headers, right? Something called authorization like that. So then we're going to get the part that um, we're going to get the access token from the beer token. So I'm also going to explain that in about the beers, but I'm also going to send you a video on that. So on the auth header, right? We're going to split like this. We're going to split where there is a space. Okay, and this it's going to split in two. So we're going to get the second part. If this is confusing, bear with me. Okay, so basically what we're doing here, when we're sending our auth header, right, it's going to be like this. It's going to be authorization, right, authorization, bearer, and we're going to have the tokens here. Okay, so what we're doing here is saying that split, and it's going to split here. So it's going to be two strings, like a list of strings, right? So it's going to be like this. And the one that we're doing here, indexes depending of you've been development long enough to know that. So this is 0, this is 1. So by saying 1 here, we want to get you this part. Okay, that makes sense. Let's continue. So for us to know that it's actually being passed in, we just console log the access token like that. Okay, so let's console log the access token. Now comes the fun part. Let's verify that token that it's still valid. Okay, so we're going to say JWT from JSON Web Tokens. Right. Okay. So we're going to get the JWT from the JSON web token. So what we're going to do is we're going to say uh, JWT dot verify. Okay. What are we verifying? Here we're going to verify our access token. Right. But also remember that once we verify our access token, as we were explaining here, we created the access token with this key, but we're also going to verify it with the same key that we were creating this with. Okay. So we're going to take the access token key, the one that we used to create this with. Okay. Right. So we're going to, so here we're going to, then this has an error or it has the data. So I'm just going to call this data. Okay. So yeah, so like this. Here we're going to then handle what we need to handle. Okay. So here we're just going to say that check. Right. We're going to say that if there's an error, there's something happened here. So we're going to say res status. Reshma, what's the status for unauthorized?
400.
Not 401?
What did you ask?
Unauthorized.
Oh, oh.
I think at some point you said something and I told you that unauthorized is 401. 400 is for valid request. Okay?
Mm. Okay.
Okay, we're going to say 401 here and let's say message. The message is going to be invalid uh, or expired token. But let's make it fun. I'm just going to say you shall not pass. Or if you know Dumbledore. Okay, sure. You shall not pass. Something like that. So here we're going to return this. Right. So but then if this token is valid, so it didn't have an error, then we're going to invoke our next function. Right? Like that. We're going to invoke our next function so that we can continue to the next step. Right. So we're going to use this in our users controller. Where is the users controller? In our users controller, and to use a middleware, we've already discussed this. You just say use the magic word, and then we're going to say auth. Oh, I don't. I do. Did we export this? Okay, we're supposed to export this auth guard here. So users controller, auth guard, like that. Let's make sure this input is fine because somehow it's bugging. So we have our auth guard here. So moment of truth, ladies and gentlemen. Me, that should be me. Let's test this out. All right, so we go to Postman. Uh, I don't think 15 minutes has passed since this was created. So let's try using this one if it hasn't expired yet. Okay, so we're going to have that thing that we're having. So users add user, and for the body, okay, the body is not going to matter at this point because okay, let's just make things that matter. Okay, so if we go to our users controller, what is it looking for? It's looking for a name, email, and password. Okay, sure. It's looking for a name, email, and password. That's already the password. So let's add the name in here. Jane, the what's going on? Okay, it's here. It's also looking for the what? The email, and we're going to say Jen, Jen at what? Gmail.com, like that. .com, and hopefully 15 minutes have passed so that we can test this out. So here, if we do this, let me restart the server. That would have failed miserably. Let me restart the server because we have to uh, make sure that we're running on the latest and greatest. Okay, let's rerun the server. All right, the port is running. Notice in this request we didn't add that what, that token. Okay, so if we do this internal server error, why is it an internal server error? Let's check. How is error just error, guys? Okay, let's see. Um, what do we want? Okay, sure. I think I know what's wrong. Basically, what is wrong here is that I was supposed to console log that error, not the actual text error. But I think here the thing is that we did not provide this, so this is what is nor. So basically, what we're going to say is if, right, access token, we have error handling is important. So my bad there. We're going to say uh, provide, or please do use what you're supposed to use, actual, like say please provide a token, but for this example we're just going to say who are you, that because we didn't provide anything, right? So let's restart the server, and when we make this request, it's supposed to respond to us who are you, because we do not provide the token. Okay, so let's send this and say send. How is it an internal server still? Go. Okay, let's see. Cannot read properties of script. Sure. Request headers like that. This is this. Let's let's provide a default thing there. Okay. Uh, let's just provide more just in case for error handling, because we're going to handle that in the next thing. So let's say I'll request this. Okay, sure. Now it's who are you, because we did not provide the what? We did not provide the token itself. Okay, but now when we provide the token, so that is going to be in headers here. I don't know. Let's say in authorization, right? Now let's say bearer token. So now it's going to do remember that we said that we use bearer tokens, you know? So the bearer token, we're going to get the one that we use to authenticate here. So let's take this one. Okay, and then we pass here. So I believe that 15 minutes has passed. So this one is not going. This one is not supposed to work. So let's test this out. We're going to say we want to add a user. Now, if we say send, right, you shall not pass because 15 minutes has passed and that token has expired. Now, if we are supposed to refresh, so a manual way would be just to log in again. So if we log in, we have this flash token here. Now, okay, we have our flash token here, and we copy this, and then we take it here, and then we pass it in here. Now this is the fresh token, and it has not yet expired. If we send this, now you see that we're now authorized, and we have added our user, Jen. Thank you. Okay. So yeah, basically that's how we do it. We have created a new token. Uh, we have verified that it is that person, and now only this token is going to have access to what to the yes, it's going to have access to this because it is a valid token. Notice if I go to the token and add something, now this is an invalid token because we cannot verify that we are the one who created it. Please let me confirm that for you. So if we send with that token, it's going to say you shall not pass because we do not know that token, right? We are not the one who created that token. But if I change it back and say yeah, now that's a valid token. We have added the user. So yeah, we have gone now. We have about reached 2 hours. So thank you for listening. Please do revise, and we are going to revise this on tomorrow. I think we do also have another class tomorrow because I was absent Friday. So yeah, do check this. Implement something. Have fun with it, and we're going to have another class tomorrow where we go through this. So yeah, thank you and bye. Only Maria says good night, Maria and Innocent.
Good night.
Mm.